Hello and welcome back to my channel. As you may have already seen, part 1 to this road trip covers New Jersey and finishes in Cape May, so do head back to that video and make sure you check it out. This is part 2 and we'll be starting in Valley Forge before heading to Philadelphia. Let's go. We have just left Cape May. That place really impressed me. Proper unique little town, a bit old school, no big chains, no big restaurants. Really enjoyed Cape May. Would have loved to have spent a few days there, and we are now driving to Valley Forge, which is just north of Philadelphia. So we're doing it a little bit differently. We're going to the north of Philadelphia and then we're finishing off in Philadelphia. It's about a 2-hour drive. Loads and loads to see all the way down the coast from Atlantic City to Cape May. So if you've got a bit of time, there's a few other places to stop. So don't forget, we're just picking out some of the highlights on a week-long itinerary. Next stop, Cape Forge. Alright, our first stop is Valley Forge, and we've come to the Valley Forge National Historic Park, which is just north of Philadelphia. We decided to come here first because we're going to drop the car off when we're in Philadelphia, so that makes sense. Now this park is 3,600 acres and has a huge historical importance, such as the American Revolution and the Third Winter Encampment. It's a really big, beautiful park that people explore recreationally. They go for walks, bike rides. There's quite a lot to see. I recommend putting it on your list before hitting Philly. Oh yes. Also just happens to be Dave Brett's birthday today.
Hey, oi, oi.
Happy birthday,
chin.
mate. Hope you're having a good one. This morning we checked out of the Element Hotel in Valley Forge. That was a really cool hotel, lovely room. Love it when you've got like a decent workspace. And we've come to Chester County to Longwood Gardens, which is one of the top public gardens in the whole of the US, and one of the main attractions are these fountains, which do some huge shows, huge night shows. If we don't see them today, I'm going to cut to some of their footage, so you will definitely see them. But beautiful day to be exploring these gardens, and people here seem to love them. Alright, we've had a good walk around the gardens and we heard there was a beer garden just around where we're having lunch. So it's so warm today, it's so hot that we have all stopped to have a little beer. Cheers. So we have arrived in Philadelphia and I'm at the Cambria Hotel. I have a huge suite, look at the size of this. But I did have a problem to get to this point. I had a regular room which was a bit dirty, but I always like to judge a hotel by how it deals with their problems. They upgraded me to apologize. I didn't really complain or anything. So yeah, this is my suite and it is huge. So if you can afford to have a place like this, you have incredible views. Good morning, it is our first full day in Philadelphia exploring. We went to the Reading Terminal Market for breakfast and we are now at the Eastern State Penitentiary. This is the world's first purpose-built penitentiary for solitary confinement. So it's actually quite world famous in reforming the prison systems over the years and in different countries. Very, very interesting place. A little bit eerie, a little bit spooky, but a cool place to come and explore. Our next stop is this very cool place called the Philadelphia's Magic Gardens, the brainchild and work of Isaiah Zagar. Honestly, you could spend hours here and still find new little nooks and crannies and little bits of art. Now that is a true Philly experience. Just had my first cheesesteak, got to be done, an amazing place. Had a little go at cooking the steaks as well, though I did pretty much fuck it up. Now we are heading for a tour in the historic area of Philadelphia. The sun is out, loving this trip so far, loving Philly. Really recommend you come and do exactly what we're doing. currently on that walking tour of the historic district and learning about the American independence and the formation of the Constitution as we know it today. But I wanted to just drop in a couple of tips. There's two things that you should bring when you're out and about in Philadelphia. One is an umbrella, and two is the sunglasses, because it absolutely pissed it down about 10 minutes ago. Check this out. This evening we are in Yards, and if you haven't noticed, there's very much a theme of brewery tours, craft beer, which we've done on purpose. We wanted to see a lot of this scene because we know it's good in Philadelphia. We've just been with Tom, who's taken us around the Yards Brewery, and it is such an incredible operation. Started in 1994, massive British influence, so I hope you can still hear me. A massive British influence with some of the ales and some of the beers that he liked, and Yards was named on Scotland Yards. I have so many different facts for you, but two things. One, the beer is incredible. It's my kind of beer, and I genuinely have loved my first two different ones. And two, this is just such a great venue. You have a lot of people here enjoying themselves, eating, socializing. So yeah, thumbs up to Yards and to Tom, and thank you. And yeah, more craft breweries to come tomorrow. So sadly, it is my last day in Philadelphia, but this morning I'm going on a bike tour with the lovely Ashley. She is showing me all around Philadelphia, and behind me is the Philadelphia Museum of Art, which also has the famous Rocky Steps. So when in Philadelphia, you have to come to the Rocky Steps. We're going to do that next. Alright, so that behind me is McGillins, which is the oldest pub in the whole of Philadelphia. We've actually been there twice now. We just had lunch there, and the other night we had a few drinks there. They had a karaoke night in there, which was fun, so I might cut to a few shots of that. Otherwise, today has been excellent. I've been on the bike tour, and I've also done the Mural tour. Now, I did do it on a bus, but that actually means you can see more, but then you've got to get your shots out of a bus. So it's up to you how you might want to do that. I recommend doing like a self-guided bike tour maybe, or go walking around some of the murals, but unbelievable murals here. The mural capital of the world with over 4,000 of them, so you have to do it in some way, shape or form. Alright, we've come on a little tour with John, who's behind the camera, kindly taking us around the city, and one of the things you've got to do is come to one of the bridges to get this amazing view over the city, take it all in, absorb it. We've made it to Philadelphia. What a place.
Real good.
This is the hammer that signifies the start of beer week. It's been passed across all the local breweries and it's just arrived here, and we've been lucky enough to hold it. This is legendary. There's a lot of people ready to get their picture with it. The very first beer of the tour at Dock Street Brewery. That's alright, that's alright. So as I mentioned earlier, we are on a brewery tour tonight with City Brew Tours. We've just been to Triple Bottom and we are now off to Love City. So far so good. What I'm really enjoying is we're getting like a backstage pass. We're going through to where it's been made. We're learning about the process. Our guide Sam is telling us all the information, answering the questions, and I'm probably not going to talk to the camera again tonight because I'm getting a little bit tipsy, which is what you're supposed to do on a brewery tour. So there you have it. Herein ends this epic road trip from Jersey City to Philadelphia. As you saw, last night was a little bit messy. Philadelphia has a great nightlife, and honestly, the brewery tour was a fantastic way, plus the jazz club. Really good evening. So yeah, just want to say thank you. Hopefully you guys have found this itinerary useful. If you liked the video, please give it a thumbs up. Pop any comments, anything else you recommend doing below. And then a massive thank you to the Philadelphia Convention and Visitors Bureau, and of course New Jersey. We couldn't have made this trip happen without them, and Dave, what a great travel partner. So if you've got any questions, anything at all, any feedback, let me know. Otherwise, thanks for watching and happy travels.